Okay. So, Alice, I'm going to hand over to you to do waiting room duties. Thanks ever so much. And yeah, and hello, everyone. It's really fantastic to see so many people here and more coming in. Yeah, it's amazing. I am amazed and I am delighted to see you all. It's really exactly what we were hoping for. So, so yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing a Thursday evening with us on what I expect is yet another Zoom call. So my name's Rachel. I'm the founder of Our Pledge, and I'm really delighted to be co-hosting this evening's event with Lily from Surfers Against Sewage Plastic Free Community Walthamstow. Do you want to give a wave, Lily, just so everyone knows where you are? Hiya. And I'm super grateful to have my colleague Alice here, who's already shown how useful she can be by being on the door. You're like the door bouncer woman. So thank you for that, Alice. Super quick bit of housekeeping just to begin with. I mean, as I say, I'm sort of assuming everyone's like overly familiar with Zoom because of 2020. So, but just a reminder, please do keep your mic off unless you are speaking and have been invited to speak. And just take a moment to remind yourself that obviously at the bottom of the screen you have a chat box, and there's also a reactions button where you can find a way to raise your hand. So when it comes to questions and opportunities to speak, you can use either the chat or the option to raise your hand. I'm going to be pushing my Zoom expertise to the max because we will be going into some breakout rooms that I will manage. And I'm also going to attempt a bit of extra technology as well that I've not done before, but we'll be doing some polls as well. So yeah, so as, I mean, most people are here, I think we'll have more people arriving, but if you want to just start using the chat box, please feel free to say hi, introduce yourself. I'd love to know if you are a resident or a business owner. So you can let us know that. You can also share a zero waste tip, or you can let us know what you're drinking or what your song choice would have been for the playlist, if you've added any songs, and so on. But yeah, it would be great to know if you're a business owner or a resident or both or neither. So yeah, obviously if you need to leave, you can take advantage of Zoom anonymity and just slip away and we won't mind. And the main thing I guess I really want to say is that, you know, this is an opportunity for me, for us to kind of connect on obviously a really important issue. And I think obviously now's the time as we're kind of coming out of lockdown, as the restrictions are easing, and I've started embracing this term of saying like we're going forward to normal as opposed to back. So just for us to be able to talk to each other about what the next phase can be, and to remind ourselves that we're all here to do that together. So this is an opportunity to kind of reconnect and sort of rediscover each other in this movement that is necessary at this time, as I'm sure we all know. And yeah, so it's an opportunity for us to chat. It's an opportunity for us to share thoughts and ideas. We will be creating a kind of handout, I suppose, after the event. We'll be sharing some of the tips that our speakers will be giving, and we'll be following up with some links and things that we think might be useful. And then obviously there may be things that come up from you guys that we want to remind each other about. So we'll pop anything that's useful in there. Let me see if there's anything else I need to say. Yeah, I just think for me personally, I think it's brilliant to bring a community together around local businesses as well. Like I really want to support local business, and there will be an opportunity for you guys, if you are a business, to kind of big up yourself later on, and remind us what you're doing. That's something that I'm really passionate about. I think change, like business owners are sometimes forgotten when it comes to activism and change making. So I want to put the power back in the community, in the hands of us all. So I think that's everything. Alice, have I ticked everything off the list that I should have said? Great news. I will say that we have creatively come up with the hashtag Plastic Free Walthamstow. If you want to social this, feel free. And so now I'm just going to hand over to Lily to talk about the Surfers Against Sewage Plastic Free Communities Initiative, and to kind of set the scene for the topic this evening, which is how do we get Walthamstow to plastic free status according to Surfers Against Sewage. So over to you, Lily.
Oh, thanks, Rachel. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. I know that we've been using Zoom for like the last year, but I have been using Microsoft Teams. Now I need to see if I can actually share. It says I can't share. So Rachel, if you wouldn't mind.
That's my fault, and I've just rectified that, hopefully. I've clicked the multiple participants option. Great. Apologies.
Okay. Right. God. There we go. Hopefully you can see it now. It's not very exciting. It's more a prompt for me, to be honest, and so you don't have to look at my face the entire time. Okay, so making Walthamstow plastic free the Plastic Free Communities is an initiative from a charity called Surfers Against Sewage. And when I first heard, I should probably talk about myself actually first. So I'm Lily, I'm a Walthamstow resident. I have worked in sustainability, mainly in construction actually, for the last 12 years or so. So I've got a bit of knowledge around environment sustainability and the wider impact of plastics. So I was kind of already a little bit aware of it. But actually I had a bit of an epiphany when I went to a networking event for sustainability professionals, and watched afterwards something called A Plastic Ocean, and it's on Netflix now, and I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but it was really eye-opening for me. And as someone that kind of already watched all the Blue Planet programs with David Attenborough, and you know, he's always talking about climate change and environmental impact from humans, and Plastic Ocean kind of was the final thing that sealed the deal for me. So I do recommend watching it if you haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to talk about Seaspiracy. I've not seen it yet, but apparently there's some things in there that might get us a bit angry. So who are Surfers Against Sewage? So when I heard about them, I was a bit skeptical because I don't live anywhere near the sea and I can't surf. But they started with some really good intentions quite a few years ago around the fact that the sewage was leaking into the sea, or deliberately being put into the sea where people were surfing. And it just wasn't brilliant for water quality, let alone, you know, people potentially falling ill. But obviously, as that's grown over time, more and more they've seen an issue with plastics in and around beaches and the ocean where surfers are surfing. And so they have actually grown hugely over the last few years. And now their major campaigning effort is actually around plastics. And so it doesn't matter that you don't live near the sea or the ocean or anywhere coastal, because the fact is plastics is a problem for all of us. So their priority is to fight plastic pollution by stopping it at source, which is why it's relevant to us when we live in cities and built up areas. And also they have cleanup programs for beaches, but they actually do inland programs as well that are community led for rivers and public spaces as well. So plastic free community is something that they've come up with. So it's basically a status that a community group or community location can attain if they meet certain objectives. So essentially it's to tackle specifically single-use plastic to make sure that it stops ending up as litter or ending up into the sea. So it's not about getting rid of plastic altogether, although I know some of us probably are trying to do that in our own little ways anyway, but it's about stopping using single-use plastic where it is avoidable, making changes that are possible. So there are 5 objectives to achieve plastic-free status for our community. So this community here in Walthamstow was set up a while back by another lady who's now left the area. At the same time, I was looking into it because I was working in Canary Wharf, and they'd actually, as a location in London, had achieved plastic-free community status. And I thought, well, I'm quite intrigued about getting Walthamstow on board with that, because I live right by the market, and at the end of every day, the Walthamstow market is just horrendous. It's covered in plastic packaging, blue plastic bags. It's not a nice sight, let alone the ongoing consequences of the plastic. So yeah, I signed up to be a community leader for Walthamstow. So yeah, what we have to do as part of this plastic-free status that we want to hopefully get, and hopefully some of you will join me in doing this, is we need to get council support. Good news is Claire Coghill, who's the leader of our council in Waltham Forest, knows about this, and she is on board. I haven't spoken to her for a little while, but she put me in touch with the market traders a while back to have a conversation about plastics on the market. And also Stella Creasy, our MP, is really, really interested in this, and she was going to try and join us today, but I'm not sure if she's been able to. But yeah, she's really on board, and I've said I'd debrief her once this is finished. So that's really good to know. Hopefully we can achieve that objective quite soon. Then I need to set up a steering group. So that's with the council and various other community members, businesses that are interested in going for this plastic-free status. As a community, we need to set up events. So this is an event, so that's one box ticks, but there's a couple of other events that they'd like to encourage us to do over the course of a year, which is great. And hopefully we might be able to do something face-to-face in time. Also, we need plastic-free champions. So that's in the form of businesses. So whether it's businesses that are already doing really good things, or businesses that want to make some changes around phasing out single-use plastics. So I need to get a number of them to sign up to achieve that objective. And then the final one is to have community allies. So hopefully some of you guys that are interested in this today will be willing to sign up to be called a community ally, someone that can support me in this movement in doing some of these things, maybe engaging with local businesses, helping set up the event, whatever it might be. You might not wish to be that active, but you want to support in your own way. So yeah, just so you know, that's the overview of plastic-free communities. So what's been done so far? So I've already kind of touched on this. I had a meeting with Walthamstow Market because I was outraged really at the amount of plastic. It didn't really go anywhere. I think that's going to be, I probably started off with the most difficult like people in Walthamstow to deal with in terms of like making changes. Although I think Rachel's going to discuss later, there are some changes around plastic bags and legislation on that will impact the market. So hopefully that will work in our favour. And then more recently, I've connected with Rachel at Our Pledge. So that's been brilliant, and hopefully we can all work together to achieve this status. So yeah, what I want to achieve, or what we want to achieve, is to make Walthamstow a plastic-free community under the terms of Surfers Against Sewage, which would be brilliant, and also to get more people involved locally, and to form our own little community in terms of those of us that are quite interested in being proactive about reducing single-use plastics individually and at business level. So yeah, I've mentioned this already, but if you are willing to sign up as a community ally, then please do find me on the Facebook group. We can share details and stuff probably in a debrief email at another point. Same with businesses. If you're interested in what it means to sign up, then there's loads of stuff I can share with you. And maybe in time we could organise like a river clean, speak with some schools. I have no connections with local schools, but hopefully some of you do. So there's quite a lot that we can still do, which is brilliant. And I'm really hoping this is going to kickstart our journey with that, because whilst it's been a bit of a rubbish year, I've got to say I've been really rubbish myself at getting this going. So hopefully this is our kickstart now. So yeah, just a note there, we've got a Facebook page. A lot of you probably already on there. I set up an Instagram today, so it's not very exciting yet, but hopefully over time we can get some more engagement around there as well. But yeah, that's everything from me.
Great, thank you, Lily. I will remove your spotlight.
Yes, do.
And for some reason it hasn't stopped showing your screen. There we go. Brilliant. Thank you. Actually, we've got well, the last two comments are super useful actually. Just before we move on, I don't know if it's worth touching on this now, Lily, but Fran has asked, how do we define what plastic free actually means? Because it's presumably impossible not to. I mean, it's a high bar, isn't it? Is there a measurement or an impact sort of metric that we can use for plastic free?
Yeah, so Surfers Against Sewage obviously have the plastic free status is based on those 5 objectives that I mentioned. So by no means it means that we're actually single-use plastic free altogether, but we've made a really good commitment as a community in a local area to becoming plastic free or single-use plastic free. So it is a loose term, and when I first found out about it, I was very skeptical because I was working in Canary Wharf and I was seeing people walking around still with plastic bottles, and it did annoy me. But I still think it's a really good initiative to get businesses and people locally engaged to try and improve around single-use plastics and starting to cut them out and normalising that as well.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to aim to get rid of them completely in order to do the work it takes to eliminate enough to make a difference. So it feels like, yeah, you have to go all out, and that will help us get.
Yeah, aim for the sky, knowing that you're probably not going to get there, but
yeah, yeah, absolutely, for sure. Thank you very much for that. And then I also noticed a handy note from Nicole. Hi, Nicole, saying if anyone's interested in getting support or extra funding for their local environmental project, she's put her email. Hi. Thanks so much for that. Abassa have actually supported us at our pledge as well, so I can attest to the support that they give, and Nicole's become an advisor to me actually on some of the plastic reduction policies that we have as well. So so actually that's probably a good segue into me just explaining who I am and what I do. I will just share my screen as well, and I'll try and keep this quite brief. Hopefully you can see that. I thought probably the best way to introduce myself is to show you our website. Really, it kind of does what it's supposed to do in terms of telling you about our pledge. We are a platform that has come out of my recognition that, or I suppose my perspective that I think that there is a really big opportunity between the relationship between customers and businesses for there to be change. I think we as customers can be change makers, and I think businesses can be change makers. And I really believe that there's a conversation that is starting to happen now. It wasn't happening so much when I founded our pledge. When I was a really frustrated customer and I wanted to buy more plastic-free, zero-waste, sustainable products, and I was, doing my best. And then I was talking to my friends and colleagues about sustainability, and for the most part, almost everyone I spoke to said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to be more sustainable, but there's just nothing. I can't access these products." So I that started my brain ticking, and I thought, well, hang on, how can we bring these sustainable products to our local shelves? I particularly also wanted to support local business. And, there's something to be said for the power of your pound. Like if you promise to pay for something, then somebody might get interested and say, yes, oh, okay, well, then maybe we'll supply it. And I also realised that was one of the stumbling blocks for businesses when they were thinking about going plastic free or making a change, was that ultimately it takes quite a lot of resource to to shift your business model or to, bring in new products, there's a bit of risk. You don't know if your customers are going to want to stock and supply, are going to buy those things. You may not know who the most reliable suppliers are. There's not enough time in the day to do all that research. So I set up a platform where consumers and businesses can talk to each other, and customers can say, hey, if you stock these products, we will buy them, and here's the proof, and here's our money to prove that's the case. And for businesses to say, hey, look, we're thinking about doing some environmentally friendly changes in the shop, but if we do that, will you guys still be with us? Are you going to pledge to continue shopping with us if we sort of take this leap of faith? And luckily, it seems to be working. That conversation has been welcomed, and our clients are finding that actually we can do some pretty good work together as a community. And I think we were trying to work out some statistics earlier. We're pretty confident that so far, we're fairly young. We also launched just before the pandemic. So we have had to sort of wade our way through 2020, but with the work that we've done so far, we're pretty confident that we've removed about over 100,000 plastic items from circulation on local shelves, and that's just the beginning. So we just want to keep going in that direction. We're really focusing on plastic at the moment, but that's not the only thing that we do. We've actually just slightly expanded, and we're looking at supporting sustainable business in general, particularly low carbon initiatives as well. So you'll see some other campaigns on our site. And if you go to ourpledge.co.uk, you can see some of our projects that are live, have finished, or that are in the process of launching. To be super clear about what we do as a business, we talk to business owners that want to go plastic free, or we talk to their customers, and we will run a kind of market research survey asking the community, if shop X stocks these products, would you be interested to buy them? We just do a bit of a temperature test and check that the demand is there. And then we actually do all the research into the suppliers as well, so that our clients can feel supported and that they're making some wise decisions about the new suppliers that they start to talk to. And then also we try, where possible, to negotiate good deals or look at kind of bulk buying options. So Lily mentioned plastic bags. I'll come to that a bit later on, because that's something that we're doing some work on at the moment. And then obviously we'll run the campaigns. So we will create your campaign pages, set up the vouchers, and then your customers, if you're a business, are able to log on and buy vouchers for products that they want to see on the shelves that they can then redeem once your target has been met and your campaign is a success. So we work with customers and businesses. You can come to us from either side of the counter, and we'd love to talk to anyone about doing more of the same work, really. And you'll hear a bit more from Adriani, who was one of our clients right in the beginning. So that's probably enough from me. And obviously, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. So, there's Simona. Yes, well, Simona has just put something in the chat as one of our clients as well. So, hi, Simona. I can't see you on the screen, but anyway, hello. Okay, so you know about me, you know about Lily. I thought it would be useful for us to know a bit about you. I'm not going to ask you to say anything or tell us anything other than 2 bits of research that we thought might be good to know. So I shouldn't have stopped showing my screen. So hopefully this will work. I'm going to share a slide, and at the top of the slide you should be able to see a website and a code. So if you can take any smart device that you have to hand and go to menti.com and put in the code 16813053, you can let us know which of the following zero waste items you own. I thought it'd be useful just to have a little peek as to what we're already doing. Where are we at? One person has done everything. Well done, that person. Oh, it's magic. Refillable water bottle. Coming up strong. Okay. Fine. Great. Wow. Okay. It's a definite tie. I think if you've got a water bottle, you've got a coffee cup and a shopping bag. That's just the way it goes. I wonder what the others are. Refill jars, not so much. Reusable cutlery, not so much. Great. Oh, thanks for doing this, everyone. I didn't know if it would work. Brilliant. Okay. Lovely. Good stuff. Okay, that's handy. Thank you ever so much. So we're all doing a lot, it looks like already, but there's definitely more we can do, I'm sure. Right, so let me take us to the next slide. Hopefully this one works. Right, what sustainable products would you like to see on sale in your local shop or cafe, or just on the streets of Walthamstow? What do you go out and think, oh, if only there was a peanut butter machine, for example, where you could make your own nut butter? Is there anything that you would like to see your local shops stock, or are they doing everything you could wish for? A blank screen. Can you see the code? It's a new code for this one. I'll do it. I'm going to say zero waste, wine. Great. Plastic-free fruit and veg. Yeah, that comes up for us a lot, actually. Clothes, flowers and plants. Great. Compostable plastic bags. There they go. Yeah, biodegradable plastic bags. Oh, lovely. Dog food is a clear winner. I think that must be, I know that one of our speakers has a dog that may make an appearance. She's on the Mentimeter, just dog food, dog food. Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Chocolate bars. Great. Amazing. I'm going to take a screen grab of that because I just want to make sure I can save it. I'm sure I can, but just in case. Wowee. Plastic-free fruit and veg is a winner. Biodegradable plastic bag, flowers and plants. Wine. Toothpaste. Good shout. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, I don't mean to cut you off. Zero waste bran flakes, that's very specific. I will talk to Kellogg's. Amazing. All right, I'm going to stop sharing, but you can keep thinking about it. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So, okay. So now we've warmed up, we know a little bit about each other, we know that we've all got a tote bag, a reusable water bottle and a coffee cup with us at all times whenever we leave the house. So I am going to put you into a breakout room so you can actually talk to each other and stop listening to my voice. Alice and Lily, if you don't go into a breakout room, I can then assign you. And I think we're just going to do 2 rooms, just 2, yeah, okay, right, bear with me. I will now create 2 breakout rooms and assign you. So I hope everyone's familiar with breakout rooms. Basically, you don't have to do anything. You'll just be invited into a room, and then you'll have about 13 minutes, at which point you'll get a 60-second warning. Yeah, and actually, I'm going to give us 2 questions to dig into. Oh, I've lost my little thing where I had them written so I could copy them neatly in. stand by, please. Here we go. I'll just put these in the chat for you so that you know what we're going to discuss. So these are just some prompts, really. And as I said before, the main thing is kind of to start the conversation and think about what we could be doing and share ideas, and then feed them back to us so we can feed them to Stella Creasy or Claire at the council and so on. And the questions are, what is the most impactful thing that could be done to reduce plastic according to you? And what is the hardest thing to do to reduce plastic? So yeah, what do we think we could do to make the biggest impact? And what is what's the biggest challenge? So yeah, have a lovely time. You'll have myself or Lily facilitating the conversation. We'll join you probably last, so you'll get into the room. And then we can just start chatting. And I think for this we can unmute and discuss. Yeah. So good. Have fun. See you in 13 minutes. Hopefully you should all be invited to a breakout room now.
Children, which I think for me that's the biggest problem, and that's the underlying issue. So I think if that's addressed, if children receive education on how to recycle and why should we recycle and why we should reduce waste and plastic at early age, not only they'll be able to educate their parents, but they'll be able to do the right thing, and that would really bring the change.
I don't have kids, but I couldn't agree more. I think we all in some ways are led by example. So yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, Nicole.
I would say myself, I think more of a focus in the education and just general narrative needs to be more on reduction and reuse as opposed to recycling. I think kind of the mindset of recycling as the answer is really problematic. And I'm sure a lot of people on here know that most of the recycling that you put away isn't actually recycled. And a lot, so I think the reduce and reuse parts, and then also just the education, around the basic kind of facts about what actually happens to our recycling would go a long way.
Yeah, totally agree. Thank you, Andrew.
Oh, you're there.
I'm here. I came in. Sorry,
I was about to text you.
I was trying to assign somebody to a breakout room who wasn't. I don't think they were still there. I think they just left their Zoom on, and so they're going to come back to their computer and be in a different in a Zoom room. But yes, thank you for getting stuck in. Sorry, I was just making notes as well, which is the main thing. So we've got education. Shifting away from recycling is the answer to reduction and reuse, absolutely. So if we start, so we've started with what would make the biggest impact, I guess. Any other takers? Yes, James, hey.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, cool, perfect. So I live just off the Leabridge Road here, and over the last couple of years, I was trying to encourage some of the shop owners to stop giving away blue bags, just the, sort of because they just give you a bag. So, or they try to give you a bag straight away, and it's like, no, I don't need a bag. And you could be buying anything like a can of Coke or a Snickers, they're still going to give you a bag. And so there's and one of them ended up having a bit of a debate with over a few times. He's just like, no, people want them. And I think there's part of it that people were like the shop owners, they just do it out of habit. So I think there's an education piece, sort of educating shop owners. But it made me think as well that why do people want plastic bags so much? And so this is spiraling off slightly, but my neighbours neither of them use their brown bin for compost. But they don't come. Why don't you do it? And they said it's due to the money, essentially. They're not skint by any standard, but they won't pay for compostable bags because they're saying, they used to get them from the council, but we don't anymore. So they don't do any food waste recycling because they are expensive. I think Sainsbury's is $3.50 for 20. That's a lot of money for a lot of people,
Yeah,
they are.
And I think sort of looking at people's sort of rubbish down the street as well, you sort of see people's bins open and stuff. I think a lot of people use these plastic bags as like swing bin liners. I mean, some people just don't care; they're just being lazy, or they're not. I think they should be banned completely, like they are in Australia. So it's just like rather than saying they're 10p or a pound or whatever, just ban them completely, and people will get used to it, like our grandparents did. But but I think there's maybe a poverty issue for some people in here, because they're not doing it for the composting because it's just too expensive.
Yes.
But I think also people are actually using a lot of these blue plastic bags that you see everywhere. You don't see the Sainsbury's ones caught in trees. You see the blue plastic ones caught in trees.
Yeah.
Like I see at my window here. And I think it's maybe there's something there for the council to, there's feedback for Stella and such.
Yes.
Maybe there is a thing that is if they invested and gave people reusable bags, you could apply and get a reusable bag or something, or if they the compostable bags and swing bin liner bags that could be compostable as well were available to people, to everyone, not just if they're skint, then
that would really help. I think that's a huge thing. And I don't know if you're aware, but there's legislation that actually came in on the 1st of April. It's not a ban, but shops are now required to charge 10p per bag.
I'm concerned they're just not going to do it.
I hear you. I hear you on that.
Just like, just don't worry about it. It's part of a great service that will give you one for free.
And I think it's sort of being, and Nicole, actually, you probably know more than I do about how it's being monitored. But the expectation is that shop owners will charge 10p for a bag, and then it will be, that money will go to a charity. So there's a shift there, and actually I think that will give shop owners a little bit of leverage to not give bags away if they don't want to. But I think you're right, there's a definite habitual assumption that that's what people want, and I do think there is something, and bags really are a huge issue. And so that's definitely something to bear in mind. And I also think affordability, or the narrative around affordability, is massive. Like, that is an absolutely huge thing for us to get over, and also to kind of disassociate, where possible, sustainability with privilege. And that's one of the things that we really try and do, is to make sustainable products more affordable, and that's why like buying in bulk and things like that are essential. To your point about bags, we are about to do a campaign, and I'm going to mention this at the end, but buying compostable bags as a shop is really, really expensive unless you buy about 70,000 bags, in which case they come down to about 4p per bag or something. So
very difficult. You can't find it anywhere.
Can't find them anywhere so I found some, but I have to buy 70,000 of them to get them at a good price. So if businesses will want them and can pledge, and I'm going to do an Our Pledge campaign for it, for businesses to pledge to buy the compostable bags via me, and I'll take the hit and buy the 70,000 and tuck them away somewhere here, and then, or Adrienne, maybe I can put them in your shop. But so that's something I'm going to talk about a bit later on. I will stop talking now. Any other thoughts, themes, ideas?
With a lot of the plastics in supermarkets in general, just like the comments about the fruit and veg, is there not a way that there can be like a council initiative or something where, as a supermarket, especially if you're a big supermarket, you just cannot trade within the council region unless you have no fruit and veg in bags? Quite a heavy one, but if we got a few councils together to do it, then they might start listening. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's, you kind of got to do the whole like plastic-free community to get somewhere, haven't you? So,
in reality, you don't need that veg in bags.
No.
We're just going to sell us small courgettes. We don't need 4 courgettes.
It's true. It's really about changing expectations. Again, that's why I sort of feel like the world needs a lot of people to say, I would buy them like this. Stop it. That's something for us to work on. But I think that's really, really true. I mean, we're we've become so habitualized to things coming in plastic bags. You know, they don't. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. Felicity, were you going to say something? I saw you unmute.
It was actually off topic, and it was just an aside, really, about, it's kind of like linked to affordability, but not really plastic. Just my daughter's school PTA, we sell used uniform, you know, so secondhand uniform, but now we're trying to say, when we advertise it on WhatsApp or wherever we advertise it, good for the planet. So making it more about, not just about saving some money, but actually trying to get into the mindset of reusing things is better than buying them from Asda or M&S or wherever you might be, like trying to ingrain it in different ways. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
I just thought of it while you were talking about, I think it was expectations. I can't remember what you were talking about. But when I came over here from New Zealand 19 years ago, we don't, I know it's a different country and it's a lot smaller and easier, but all our fruit and veg is kind of like seasonal. You can't get like pomegranates or passion fruits or whatever.
Yeah.
Or lemongrass. I went to buy lemongrass one time. My mum said, you're not going to get lemongrass at the supermarket. But you know, so they don't have things wrapped up in plastic. You just don't see 2 apples in plastic.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't know why it's different, but it can be different, can't it? Here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely also think... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, on that note, for the compostable bags, I just remembered something, just occurred to me. It is accepted for you guys to wrap your food in paper instead of using compostable bag. The council accepts this, it's more environmentally friendly, and it's reusing paper, and you don't have to spend money on buying compostable bags. So it is accepted to wrap your food remains in paper and place them in the food waste.
That's great to know. I think that's an opportunity. I mean, that's just a message that we need to share, all of us then.
Can I say something on the back of Nicole's point as well?
Yeah.
Just about knowing that you can put them in paper, because I didn't know that, but actually it sort of sounds quite obvious once you say it, because obviously paper is effectively biodegradable. But in terms of, like, I know you said about education for kids, actually for adults as well, it is so hard to get to the bottom of what you can and can't recycle in councils in general, but even Walthamstow council who are good at what they can recycle. Some things you go on and you think, but it doesn't say that, or it sort of sounds like it could be that, but is it that? I'm not really that sure. And actually, could there not just be a community list where people write in and then the questions get answered and they get added? I get that would be a job for someone, but actually it could be so useful to educate the community, because they're sending around the leaflets, but not everyone is. Even the leaflets aren't really that clear. They're quite generalized, and sometimes it is quite specific things, like even the concept of biodegradable plastics. Where do you actually put them, or how are you meant to rinse out your toothpaste holders? Obviously, so many conversations around what that packaging could actually look like to make it a lot easier, but it is complicated. And now there's like a whole new thing with mail bags that are like paper, and you rip them apart and the bubble wrap inside can be separated, but the picture on them just has a figure putting 2 things in 2 different bins, and no one knows what the bins are because there's no picture, and it's like, what? Where do they go?
Bin A and bin B.
I completely agree with you, Harriet. I mean, I think for me, what I've found out from a couple of years in this industry, there's not one unite message across London. Different councils accept different things for recycling, and that's the biggest problem. People move around London all the time. Information is not fed to people properly. Well, not as good as it can be. Different councils just accept different stuff. So even I'm confused sometimes, and I work with. So it's just about going on every possible website and just educating. That I had an idea of the leaflets being in different languages.
Yeah.
I was just
which
thinking that it's got to be a,
unfortunately just didn't go through this time for the leaflets.
oh,
If you've had by contamination leaflets sent to your house, that was meant to be in a few different languages. That was the idea.
yeah.
There's
That's,
just so much to address on the education topic.
yeah, I wonder, actually, but my time has just gone off, so I need to actually, 1 minute left. My time has gone off and my timer, which is Alice, has gone off as well. Thank you, Alice. How do I administrate? I might have to leave. I don't know how to leave room. Okay, I'm going to leave. Sorry, guys. Alice, can you wrap up for the final 60 seconds and then I can close the rooms? But this has been great. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you on the other side. Great. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I guess the other room hasn't quite finished. Give them a min. Here they come. Hey gang, welcome back. Cool. Okay. I don't know how to make that. So, Lily, actually, where are you? Do you want to give us a quick rundown of what you talked about in your room?
Yeah, loads of stuff, and I've written it not in any particular order.
Fine. No, I want it in alphabetical order, please.
So, I think the general consensus was that essentially, you know, big business needs to change to be able to impact, to have the most impact in regards reducing and cutting out single-use plastics, and that to be able to have kind of the what's the word, like the power behind us as individuals to be lobbying or trying to make contact and make changes with some of the big business locally, so namely really supermarkets, because we've got all of them locally, then we need to really group together, maybe make partnerships with other local charities around that are maybe looking at social engagement and environment, to be able to partner to then lobby these local supermarkets to say, hey, you know, why can't you run some of these brilliant trials on our doorstep? Because there's an appetite for it here. So yeah, that was discussed. Also, as an interim measure, understanding actually locally what is being recycled at the moment and what isn't, what's actually happening to plastics locally at the moment. Do they even know, you know, for plastics as a separate waste stream, or is it just chucked in with everything? You know, are they able to give that kind of level of information at the moment? And then from that, would the council be able to then commit to their own pledge about what they want to target first in terms of certain types of plastics, maybe to cut out first because they're the most difficult to deal with? Someone mentioned, Katie mentioned that there's a bin, this is brilliant local knowledge, there's a bin outside, I think it was the Billet Road Sainsbury's supermarket, where she's been putting her plastic film waste. So little bits of knowledge like that, if we can start getting people using things like that, I'll start raising awareness with those supermarkets to say, hold on a minute, people keep bringing back their plastic and we don't have the capacity to deal with this at the moment. So either we provide better capacity or we stop providing all of this plastic in our packaging.
That's exactly the kind of thing we want to put in the handout that we'll deliver to everyone, because then it can become a resource that we can all reference and share, and we'll publish it on the website as well, so that it, you know, people can just go to a link.
Yeah. But I think, again, just before I hand over to whoever's next, the other thing really is, at the end of the day, we have to be aware that some of these things cost money, and that we need to make sure that any alternatives that are being provided or that we're suggesting need to be accessible to all, and to those that maybe would struggle more than others, whether it's financially or even just like for convenience. So just an awareness with anything that we're kind of moving forward with or having discussions about, that it needs to be accessible essentially.
Yeah, that was absolutely echoed in our room, that affordability is a key factor and actually we were talking about that in reference to compostable bags, and that if the council don't supply compostable bags and you have to buy them for your food waste, then they're expensive. And Nicole revealed that we can put a compost in paper and put it in the brown bins. So you don't need to necessarily have a compostable bag for your brown bin. You can wrap compost in paper, and that's a message that can go out. Oh yeah, in the US, supermarkets have large bins outside where everyone can place their plastic bags. I mean, that is the kind of one of the few things that the US gets right. Well, that's good. That's a good example, actually, and something, that we can reference. So, in our room, we talked actually about education. We definitely feel that our leaders are probably younger than us now, and that, if we can provide education to young people from a really early age, they will be living this lifestyle and teaching us as they learn and grow. So that's something that we agreed would be a real significant piece of the puzzle. We talked about shifting the narrative away from recycling but to reduction and reuse. So just hammering home that reduce, reuse, and recycling can maybe just quieten down. We can look at those options. We talked about what we can do as a community to kind of lobby the council, and we talked about everything, including things like whether there's an area that you could say within these boundaries. If you sell fruit and veg in plastic, then you pay a fine or something like that. Not sure how it would work, but really thinking about how we need this kind of legislation and these council initiatives to be the arbiters. What's the word I'm looking for? Fran gave me a nod on that one. Okay, I'm going to say arbiters of these initiatives. What else? And also clarity. Understanding what can be recycled, where different things can go, and we also talked about having leaflets and information in multiple languages. So Nicole, you were talking about doing that, and I know you weren't able to, but we would definitely support that because the fewer barriers, the better. So that was the feedback from our room. So we've talked about the challenges. We've talked about what we'd like to do. I'd like to now hand over to our two speakers who are walking the walk and who can talk to us about some of their advice and tips for living a greener lifestyle and running a greener business. So Hannah Colbert is a sustainability lifestyle expert. And you may know Hannah already from her shop Greener Habits. So Hannah, I'm going to spotlight you now and hand over to you to talk about your journey to plastic free, and then I'll do the same with Adrienne from Stone Mini Market. But Hannah, over to you first. Spotlit. Oh, it didn't work. Yes, it did. There we go. Hi.
Everyone. I'm Hannah, as Rachel introduced me, and I own and run a zero waste shop in Walthamstow, which is called Greener Habits Co. I am a nurse by background, so this was very much a passion project for me and a massive change of career. The shop has been open for about a year and a half, the physical shop, but we've had an online shop for about 3 years. So my journey to opening a plastic-free shop and to going plastic-free in general started around 4 years ago. And it was not long after I had gone vegan. So I was becoming a lot more aware of our impact on the planet, and I was already doing things like using a reusable water bottle or a tote bag when I went shopping. But I was quite unaware at this point of just how bad the problem had got in places, well, in the UK as well, but it was when I was traveling about four years ago that I saw just how bad the plastic waste had got on beaches, and some of the most beautiful and, serene places that had now become rubbish bins. So I was in Bali at the time, on some quite small little beaches that were, you know, not well known, and the waves would be crashing in full of plastic waste, everything from plastic bags, straws, nappies, sanitary towels, plastic food wrap. It was just everywhere. And I have got pictures of it all. I think it's on my Instagram. And I was doing daily beach cleanups and getting like big bin bags full of waste. And I just thought, wow, what is going on? What are we doing to this planet? And when I came back home, I'd been thinking about it, like, what can I actually do? And I was looking around my house at all the waste that I created personally. So that's how I kind of started. So I made an itinerary kind of in my head of all the things that I was using that came in plastic or that were made of plastic, things like my toothbrush, shower gel bottle, and just thinking, wow, I never really thought about this before, but this is terrible. This is going to be, you know, washing up on a beach somewhere or in landfill forever. And there's got to be a better option out there. But 4 years ago, actually, it wasn't that easy to find alternatives. It was really difficult. I would search online, go to my local supermarket or Boots or Superdrug, and there was no options for any of these alternatives that we can now get today. And we're so lucky to be able to get. And I literally just started by, when something ran out or when it was no longer usable, I would try and find an alternative for it. So swapping a plastic toothbrush for a bamboo toothbrush, swapping my shower gel bottle for a soap bar. And it took me a long time to find some things like toothpaste. And I went through like, oh, do I make this myself, or do I just, you know, suck it up and have some plastic or none? But fortunately, there were lots of people 4 or 5 years ago who also were starting to make these little creative businesses of like clay-based toothbrushes or natural deodorant in tins and glass jars that you can return. So it was a small movement, but there were people doing it, and it was but it was kind of frustrating that I couldn't find things so easily. So I decided that I would actually just start a shop myself. I thought, well, surely that we need to start having this as mainstream. And I started maybe with 5 or 6 products on my website, which was a cutlery pouch that I used to make, bamboo cutlery, straws, and toothpaste and deodorant, or something really simple like that. I went to lots of different events, and there was a demand for it. People wanted this stuff, you know. I'd go to local market stalls, vegan events, little markets that were trying to be sustainable, but it was quite new, so it wasn't quite there yet, and such a good reception. But everybody kept saying the same thing to me. The biggest frustration for them was food shopping and going into their supermarkets and not being able to find any food, especially fruit and veg, beans, rice, pasta, without plastic. And I thought, okay, right, I need to do something about that. That is the biggest issue. And it used to be my biggest personal frustration too. I started to be able to get all the other things plastic free, but filling up, you know, kitchen spray or wanting a bag of pasta, like the only option really was plastic. So just about 2 years ago, I started to crowdfund to open up Greener Habits, which is in Walthamstow. It was all a bit wild. I never thought I'd own a shop, but here I am. And it's been amazing, actually. We've got a really lovely base of regular customers who are absolutely desperate for something like this to open in Walthamstow. So that's kind of how I got to it. And we're not actually finished building yet because of COVID. We were 3 or 4 months old when COVID happened. So the shop wasn't really properly finished. And it was a bit of touch and go for a while because we were so new, hardly anyone knew us. So we've had a really very interesting first year and a bit of trading, but it's really picked up for us as more of the community knows we're there, and I've been really loving it. As I was going to actually do for you guys as well, just 6 tips of going more sustainable. It isn't plastic free focused, but these are some of the things that I found over the past 4 years that have really helped me, but also feedback from customers and friends who are also on this journey. So number 1 is, this is a question I ask myself before I buy anything, whether it's in plastic or not. Do I really need this item? most of the time the answer is actually no, you don't need that item. I do not need another mug, or I do not need that t-shirt online, which is probably going to come in a plastic bag. It's probably going to have plastic tags. It's probably going to, you know, not be sustainable, you know. So I ask myself before I buy anything, do I actually need it? This cuts out a whole lot of your waste before you even need to like think about what to do with it. This also leads me on to the second thing is, if you do need to buy something, can you get it secondhand? Secondhand shopping, people typically think, oh, clothes or furniture, but you can find anything secondhand, even a pair of dirty underwear if that's your thing. But you can. The website, the internet out there has got every single thing you could possibly need secondhand. I kitted my whole house out with secondhand furniture and appliances, and I think in total to fit 3 rooms out and the garden, it cost me under £100. So this kind of stereotype that plastic free or sustainable living is expensive isn't always true. If you're shopping secondhand and sustainably, it can actually cost you a lot less. So some of the things that I found secondhand: kitchenware, glasses, books, pet items, glasses, including sunglasses, obviously clothes, furniture, but yeah, there's lots more you can find as well. My third top tip would be to prepare an on-the-go kit for yourself. So this is very simple, but a very effective way to avoid all the everyday waste that we encounter at work, traveling, on day trips, when you're abroad. So this will be personal to you, but typically the most popular items were some of the ones on that list earlier that Rachel put. Water bottle, coffee cup, cutlery in a little pouch with a napkin. You know, you can buy reusable napkins, or you can get vintage hankies like I have, which come in handy not just for nose blowing, but also your mouth wiping, because, you know, using those the disposable ones in shops that are made of, they're bleached and they're just single use and they're not very nice for the planet. But you can put anything in it. Grocery bags. You can get really small little grocery bags that fold up and can go in your pocket if you don't want to carry a whole kit with you. But this is really what helped me stop using so much single-use items on the go. And my fourth tip is use up what you already have. Again, going zero waste or plastic free doesn't need to cost a lot of money. Use up old plastic Tupperware to store your food in, or to go to a food market with and refill it with food rather than getting a single-use container. Again, you can use cutlery from your own drawer. You don't need to go and buy a fancy new cutlery set. Cut up old t-shirts to make cleaning cloths and even baby wipes. T-shirts that you couldn't donate because they're not good enough anymore or they're stained. What else did I put? Almost anything can become a plant pot, like plastic tub wise. So you don't, you know, or if you're doing seedling planting and growing your own, use the old mushroom trays that you get, that, you know, because you can't always buy mushrooms loose. That was some of my tips for that. And then my fifth tip is find a local zero waste shop. So if you're in Walthamstow, I am in Walthamstow, but also you've got Stone Mini Market in Leytonstone. And in Hackney, if you're that way, you've got about 7 or 8 choices. I mean, you are spoiled in East London now. There are also options around Walthamstow if you're not near me in St. James Street. Like, I think Veg Hut does some refills. Does some refills. So there, almost every corner now, you can walk to a zero waste shop. And all you need to do to shop at a zero waste shop is turn up with some containers if you have them already. So this can be glass jars, old plastic tubs that maybe you've got peanut butter in or something, cloth bags, or anything like that, Tupperware. And if you don't have anything, like my shop is, we take donated jars, so you can also pick up some jars or tubs or containers. And we also have paper bags for those who maybe are very new to it and not really sure what they're doing yet. I have been there myself once, so you won't be frowned upon. We do have things there for you to use. My final tip is recycle those items that you can't donate or reuse. So there is a charity for almost everything now, and you can even send your old bras, glasses that are broken, even swimming lilos that have burst, and old canvas tents. There's somebody somewhere making and using those. There was someone recently actually in Walthamstow collecting the ink cartridges, used ink cartridges to raise money for a homeless charity. So a quick Google and you'll probably be able to find someone that will take something you think needs to go in landfill but doesn't. I've sent off a box of bras before because they didn't fit anymore. They were still in good shape, but they said they recycle them into other materials, or they send them to communities which can't afford to buy, you know, bras are expensive. So if they're still in good use, they reuse them for that. So yeah, that's my final and quirky tip. But if there's any questions, I think you can put them in the thing. Thanks for having me as well.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That's epic. Yeah, I was just thinking of like all the different websites and apps and things where you can buy things secondhand, or like, you know, I mean, even like Free Cycle actually is just super useful. And yeah, and just, you know, the WhatsApp groups that came up over lockdown, I think as well, just finding ways to kind of almost recycle things along our street has been really interesting. Amazing. Thank you so much. And again, we'll share those tips in the follow-up notes. So thank you. And Adrienne, over to you. So you all set, ready to go, ready for your spotlight?
Hello.
Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna say quickly that I'm loving Chili, your cat on the background. She's a star. She is a star.
She had to find a way to get in.
She had to.
She positions herself exactly. I'm like, I know I have to give her a moment. Yeah, there we go.
So I'm Adrienne from Stone Mini Market here in Walthamstow. Some of you already know me. There is not much to say about me, apart from that I am from one of those countries that suffers with climate change inequality. So that on itself is a reason for me to do business in a different way that we used to do. My husband and I own the mini market in Walthamstow. The business now about 10 years old, but it was nothing like that when my husband started and when I joined him in. About 2 or 3 years ago, we decided that what we were doing for a living no longer was matching the lifestyle that we wanted to have and we were working for. I was then volunteering for Transition Walthamstow, which is where the group where I met Rachel, introduced by a friend, and we were trying to go vegan, which we find we are. We were no longer buying new clothes and buying secondhand, but we still had a ordinary off license selling loads of bad brands and a lot of plastic, to say the least. So we then put together a business plan. How could we go from grey to green and make our business greener and make our business better whilst retain the same customers? We wanted to make a better shop for the same customers. We didn't want to scare people away. And you would be surprised how easy you can scare people away when you start saying plastic free, they all go. So we had to be very subtle. You have to do it in a gentle, kind way. So I have put in a list of the 5 steps that we took that helped us the most, in the hope that will inspire some people. Doesn't matter what kind of business you do, and I hope that it will help if you're planning to make changes in your business. So our first step, as we are off license, we put up 6 cleaning products that people could buy by refills. They could come and refill only 6 cleaning products. And that was a big hit because that was easy to do and people were willing to buy those products for us. So that was good, that worked. The second one was I had this silly idea of asking a few customers to bring me back whatever plastic bottles, containers they bought from me for 2 weeks so I could see how much plastic I was selling to them and make a picture. And I didn't have space for so much plastic in such a little shop. So instead of doing it for 2 weeks, I had to do it for 10 days. The intention was good. I just didn't have the space to put so much plastic. We lined it up in front of the shop. The photo is somewhere in our Instagram. And between only 7 families in 10 days, we had 213 bottles, and that I could only put the bottles in there. I could not place all the package, and there was no way I could put all the rubbish in front of the shop for a photo. That was shocking, that on its own. So that image, that visual image, made a lot of our customers say, yeah, where is that laundry liquid I can refill again? Let's start to do that. So that was very impactful and good. So that was my second tip. The third thing we done, the third step was swapping some products. What we did was we chosen some biscuits, crisps, chocolates, and drinks, and for all of them we found a ethical company, a greener company, and we placed them next to each other. So every time someone came to buy a bar of chocolate, say, oh, have you tried this one? Is fair trade, is much better for the environment, is much better for the people, and it actually tastes really good, and happens to be like salad because it's vegan. And people were trying. Some products were great, some products did really work, some products were a completely failure. And as soon as we're getting feedback from people on those products, we would then stop selling the evil twin that they had, and that would be gone. Let's not talk about it anymore, because if they actually realize it's not here anymore, they're not going to come for it. So just leave the good guys in here. That's what we have. They're going to buy it somehow. I had a lot of faith in my husband that can sell anything really in the world. Our fourth step then after the swapping of the products was to choose one product that we could afford to sell at nearly non-profit, and just so people could buy it and get the taste of, oh, actually, this is not difficult and this is good, and that doesn't cost us so much money. And up to date, we should do it, which is the milk. We have milk in glass bottles and we have milk on refill, and our margin on top of it is nearly nothing. So we make sure people can buy that and doesn't cost them so much, because as mentioned before, those products can be expensive for your shop and for your customers. And when we changed the milk, I will never forget this one customer that probably never came back to my shop ever again, because he was really upset and said, I want milk. I said, oh, the milk is there. We can have the glass bottle, or you can refill your own bottle. And he went, no, I just want the plastic bottle, the normal milk. And I went, oh, when did we make plastic normal? When did that happen? At this point, I thought I need help in here. This is going to take me a very long time. I have my husband on the background thinking, it's all very well going vegan, buying secondhand clothes, but what did you say about biodegradable toilet paper again? No, we're not doing that. How much was it? No, we need to save for the rent. That's not going to happen. So this is when Rachel was starting our pledge, and we decided to be the pilot. And so that our pledge is our fifth tip, because that was the best collaboration that came from the whole process. We ran two campaigns with our pledge. I do know that there is some people who pledged in the room today. At the first campaign, we wanted to raise £5,000, and we we wanted at least 100 people to pledge. So we knew we had that many people supporting us. We end up raising £7,330,000, and we had 113 pledges behind us. No, 138 pledges behind us. It was great. We then installed this refuel station just on time for the pandemic, and boy, did our customers make use of it. That was used to the maximum. And then we had to change for bigger premises. We overgrow the space that we had. We run our second Our Pledge campaign, and we raised £15,690, and we had 213 people pledging. 213 pledges, and that is the number that I will never forget, because that much people believed that we could grow that much, that we could be this better shop. And these 213 people helped us I have from those 6 refill stations that we had on the start to 109 dispensers up to date, peanut butter machine, milk dispenser, oat milk dispensers, popcorn machine, you name it. I think it's all in here now. And we have helped our customers avoid the usage of 100,000 plastic package. So I haven't done much, but I can proudly sit here today and say that I helped you guys reduce that much plastic instead of being the one who sold you that much plastic and be ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it because I did not sell those. So I hope this has helped people, business that are trying or thinking of going more sustainable. And also now, if you're sitting here as a customer, you know how much it goes behind business like my business and Hannah, who just spoke, Greener Habits, how much work, commitment and risk it goes into to make those changes. They might seem very little, but there is a lot of work in there, and that you can help with voting with your pound this kind of business. And I don't only mean refill business, but clothes business, makeup business, making better choices when you buy. I want to believe that we will get to a point that we will no longer want to give our hard-earned money for companies that are helping pollute, companies that are helping slavery to still exist at this day and age, companies that are avoiding taxes that we all have to pay. And for that, and all these people that are being supporting us, I'm very, very, very grateful. And I think I've said all that I had listed. And if there was anyone has any questions, just let us know.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Adrienne. That's just a magnificent overview of your journey. I mean, I feel like we've gone through 10 years with you, and it's amazing. The new shop is gorgeous. We had a couple of people saying that in the chat there. So yeah, I wanted to try and finish up around about 8:30, but I did think this would be a good opportunity for any other businesses or anyone who's running an event or anything like this that you'd like to tell the community that's here. Thank you, Adrienne. Yeah, if you want to mention anything that you're doing or that you'd like to share, please feel free. I think for this, if you want to just raise your hand, either like actual hand or use your hand raise icon, you can do that. Right. Oh, Andrew, yep. Go ahead. Are you unmuted? Hey.
Hey. My name is Andrew Matthews, and I'm the founder of a company called Reuser. It's still early stages, but we hopefully should be able to launch in the next month or two. But the business is around solving the problem for on-the-go and takeout and delivery waste, which is one of the key kind of waste contributors that is really hard to find a solution for. So what it's a reuse system that's kind of enabled by an app and QR codes, where essentially, you would get your coffee in a reusable coffee cup, use it and then drop it off in one of the bins, and we would collect, clean, and redistribute these to the partner vendors. So really trying to kind of mimic the single-use culture, but sort of provide a more sustainable way of doing business. And so if you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat, and then also just our current landing page, which will change in the next month, but I can direct you to that as well. All right, thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Andrew. I'll definitely be in touch with you as well. Anyone else? Catherine, hiya. Go ahead.
Hi everyone.
I think I know what you might be about to say.
Hi everyone. Wow, it's great to see so many people on this call today. I have just launched a campaign with Rachel today, so I just thought I'd quickly give a little shout out to that. So I'm the founder of No Fly Travel Club. We're an overland sustainable travel company, and we are running a campaign to fund some startup costs, because obviously with travel looking a bit rocky at the moment, it's a really good way for us to build a bit of a community and to make sure that we've got some people who want to support the business lined up when travel comes back. And I think we're going to be doing an event at some point with Rachel. So yeah, if anyone's interested, it'd be great to see some more people along at that. And if you want to take a look at the pledge, you can also find it on Rachel's website. So yeah.
Thank you, Catherine. Yeah, and absolutely, I'll circle back on that just to say that the campaign itself is offering the opportunity to pledge to travel, and your vouchers can be redeemed against a journey in future, and by pledging you get a discount. So now's the time. Yes, any other? Michael, go ahead. Yes, hiya.
Hello. So I'm Michael. I'm from Yuyun, which is a kind of loose leaf company that sells Chinese tea, and I think we've always been big on eco-friendly. We say we're quite eco-conscious. We try to do compostable bags, which has been a bit of a challenge in terms of cost. It's definitely raised the price of our tea by quite a little bit, but I think it is worth it, and I think in the long run, as we get bigger, the price will go down as we can buy more and more. We are looking to get more into just selling the loose leaf pure, and I think our eventual right now we are just an online shop, but eventually we want to open a little tea shop / museum, and we'd love to have like loose leaf in there too. So yeah, that's just a kind of little journey, but yeah.
Awesome, thank you. I love that you just casually went tea shop / museum. Amazing. That sounds great. Thank you. Any other takers? We've got 3 minutes to 8:30. If we finish at 8:30, I'll be very proud. Oh, Harriet. Yes. Where are you? I can't see you. There you go. Hiya. Yes. You've got 3 minutes. No, you can take it as long as you like. But you need to unmute.
I'll be super quick. This isn't really, well, it is plastic free. I mean, you don't need to do this with any plastic, but I launched a sustainable and ethical clothing brand over lockdown. I've worked in fashion for 10 years, and it sort of all came together during lockdown. But it's, there's no plastic, there's no need to use plastic. And if you're small as well, any of the biodegradable garment bags, which should be being used at this stage, can all actually just be simply reused and collected and taken back to the factory, because they really don't take up a lot of space once they have no garments in them. But yeah, just wanted to say hi, and I'm in Walthamstow, and if you can afford to, please avoid fast fashion, because it's literally doing nothing good for the planet whatsoever, and there's no reason that these people can't pay their workers properly.
Yeah. Thank you. Feel free to put a link in the chat as well to what you're doing. Please do. We'll share. I'll save the chat actually, and then we can refer back. There's been so many good tips and ideas and comments, and I haven't been able to read them all. So, but that's amazing. So, oh yeah, I said this in the breakout room that I was in, but obviously there are some people who weren't in that room, and the thing I want to say, yes, so compostable bags. So obviously this is a big thing. It was in the word cloud itself. People were talking about genuinely biodegradable compostable bags. So I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'm sorry if I am, but I know it's a huge issue, and we at our pledge are looking for businesses to pledge to buy compostable bags at cost. So I am prepared to purchase a massive quantity of genuinely compostable bags that business owners can offer to their customers instead of blue plastic bags, because if I buy them at enormous numbers and then provide them to shops in the area, then we can get them at about 3p per bag or 4p per bag, as opposed to 30p or something. I've lost track of the numbers, they're ridiculous. But anyway, so if you're a business owner and you'd like to pledge to buy some bags, then let me know. I will send a link to that anyway. But I have checked with Nicole that these bags that we've found can be composted in your food compost, your brown bins, or at home on a compost heap. So it's not an ideal solution. Obviously, it's much better to bring your own tote bag. But for people who just don't do that or aren't out of the habit of getting a plastic bag to take their shopping home in, a compostable bag is better, and we'll label them very clearly to say, put this in your home compost or in your brown bin, wrapped up in paper. What else? That's it. Okay. Lily, I had a note because you've got your new email address, but I wanted to put me in here. So this is my email address. Sorry to do it as I'm speaking. Multitasking is not obviously this is our Instagram, and anyone else who wants to share information in the chat, you can do that and we'll circulate it. If you want to carry on the conversation, you can hashtag plastic-free Walthamstow. We will follow up with you all with your, thanks Hannah, with our top tips and so on, and maybe we'll see you in person at the next one.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are we going to share this recording in our email to everyone?
Yeah, can do.
I think that would be good. And then if they want to share it, or if there was anything that they couldn't remember from it, then that would be cool. And I'd really like to share it on the Facebook page for the Plastic Free Walthamstow group. That would be really great.
Yeah, fine. I don't know what it does with the breakout rooms. I didn't stop it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I might edit it. I don't know, because if it just, yeah, anyway, I will make it, or I might chop it in bits or something. But yes, I will share it for sure. 1,000%. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for contributing. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being plastic-free heroes. Take care and see you all soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.